Greetings, everyone. I am Ngabuto Nicholas Mabena. It's a Friday, the 10th of October 2025. We are having a general discussion on documentation on our trip to Botswana, which I think you have seen our statement. If you have questions, you are free to write in the comment section. I know the other day we did not answer all questions when we discussed the extension of the Zimbabwe exemption permits. So you might want to ask the question, so you can write in the comment section, and we will certainly respond to your questions. But firstly, we want to express our deepest condolences to the family of Honorable Desire Moyo, Member of Parliament for Nkulumane constituency in Bulawayo, who lost his life in a car accident when he and his colleagues were driving from Harare to Bulawayo. We are told that his colleagues, Honorable Madala Boindebele, Senator Rita Ndlovu, Honorable Sethulo Ndebele, Honorable Lipion Sbanda, were taken to hospital. We wish them a speedy recovery. According to media reports, is that the vehicle they were traveling in hit an elephant around Shangani. We have been asking whether in the Midlands, in that part of the country, are there elephants? I've never seen an elephant alongside the Bulawayo Harare Road. I've used that road many times. We are told indeed there are elephants in some farms in Midlands. We are very much concerned that wild animals get into the roads. We are very much concerned. So our condolences to the family of Honorable Moyo, and a speedy recovery to those that he was traveling with. This also raised serious concerns about the state of our economy in Zimbabwe. You cannot imagine that in a stable economy, we cannot fail to build a wire along or a perimeter wire along the road to prevent animals from crossing. You know, years back, we used to have that wire that will prevent animals from coming into the roads. But that wire was removed, putting risk at motorists, particularly when they are traveling overnight. Yes, the road between Bulawayo and Harare was developed some few years back. But again, it is not what it should be. The road connecting the capital city and the second largest city in Zimbabwe, it should be widened, that road. So that tells you a lack of priority by the government in the last 45 years, that we have not built proper infrastructure. Secondly, of course, I know that when I raise this, people will say that, but other people travel the same way. That we understand, and we do not object to it. But it raises concerns when members of parliament travel in one motor vehicle to and from Harare. It raises serious concerns. Because the members of parliament, as we understand, they would not manage to fuel a vehicle, to travel alone in the vehicle, uh, because of the state of our economy. So it raises, because like I'm saying that when we raise this, it will be thrown back at us that people, we travel in buses, we travel in taxis and so forth. We understand. This is why we first speak about the infrastructure, the nature of the road itself, why we're not protecting uh, wild animals from getting into the road so that our roads become safe, even if we drive at night. So it's a serious issue also that you have members of parliament that will be traveling in one car. I saw the photos of the vehicle, which were told it belongs to Honorable Ndebele of Matobo South, and the Comrade Moyo who died, Honorable Moyo, said to have been the one that was driving that motor vehicle. Thank you, Comrade Patience Mbeba, and all comrades that have joined. We are also concerned by the robberies of long distance buses. We saw what happened, Delta bus. Last week, there was another bus which was robbed. Uh, as you know, we used to travel using taxis, ama-taxi, to Zimbabwe. When, of course, some would use Greyhound and other buses that were there at Park Station. But over the years, taxis have to Zimbabwe have disappeared. What we have, Ngomalaicha, you will now have many buses that ply the route between Zimbabwe and South Africa. Many of these buses are at Powerhouse in Braamfontein. So when we hear of a bus being robbed along the highway, we hear that people attempted to get into the bus at Powerhouse. Then we're told that they to get into the bus in Pretoria. People carrying guns. We are concerned. You are inside the bus. You are carrying all your possessions, your gadgets, everything, your money and so forth. You are going home. Then you hear gun sounds inside the bus. And the first question is, how did someone board the bus without being searched? In any case, I've never seen people being searched getting into a bus at Powerhouse to check whether one is not carrying a firearm. Bus operators must improve security. They must improve security for the safety of the passengers. We are going to the festive season. Many people will be using these buses. So bus operators must buy those security detectors that when you get to a shop, they scan our body to check whether you didn't steal anything. They should use such equipment so that every person that gets into the bus is scanned and is seen that uh, they do not have guns. Our condolences to the family who lost their loved ones. We understand that some people died in the bus, a Delta bus. Our condolences to the families, and wish a speedy recovery to those injured. And indeed, as we are saying, we call on bus operators to improve security. Uh, Comrade Colin Patlane, you're right. You now plan to run to Botswana and not going back to Zimbabwe to fix Zimbabwe. Not at all. Actually, we had a good meeting in Botswana. We went to meet our comrades in the Botswana National Front. This T-shirt that I'm wearing they presented to us. So I've got this jersey that was given in Haberoni yesterday. We had a good meeting. We discussed the various issues of interest. Botswana National Front is a former liberation movement. It has been there. It was established in 1965. It's not that it's a party that emerged now. No, it has been going through its challenges. A former liberation movement. It was in a relationship with the ZAPU, ANC, and the other liberation movements. Only that it did not attain power at independence like most of the liberation parties. Yeah, now it is part of the coalition that is governing Botswana. It is in coalition with two other political parties called using the banner Umbrella for Democratic Change. So the comrades told us that these parties, the three parties, they still maintain their independence. Then, for the purposes of elections, they come together under UDC to contest the election. So they are the government in Botswana. Botswana National Front is the biggest of the coalition. The president of Botswana is the president of BNF and also president of the UDC. So discussed the issues of interest, uh, global issues, as you would know, the crisis that we find ourselves in Eastern Europe, what is happening in Middle East, Israel, in Gaza, the ongoing genocide, what is happening in the Sahel region, the rest of the African continent, uh, the crisis in Zimbabwe that we are going through. You know that Zimbabwe is supposed to go to an election in 2028. There are attempts to amend the constitution so that elections are pushed to 2030 or beyond. The 2013 Zimbabwean constitution has clear term limits, and we know that President Mnangagwa is in his last term. And also, you know that the outcome of our elections are always contested. So we did raise these issues with our comrades in Botswana that as government of Botswana, as a party that is in government in Botswana, they should put pressure on Zimbabwe to ensure that elections are held in accordance with the principles of holding democratic elections. And we always say that if the people of Zimbabwe want to elect any party, if the people of Zimbabwe are happy, they should be allowed in a free and fair environment. This is why we do not complain as Zimbabweans that the new president of Malawi is 85 years old. The people of Malawi saw it fit that they needed an 85-year-old as their president, uh, notwithstanding that there were other younger presidents, which also brings the question of ageism in politics, whether it's politics about ageism or it is about political and economic ideas. Uh, um, uh, uh, we see also in Cameroon, 92-year-old Paul Biya, who doesn't live in Cameroon. His name is on the ballot. We are told he had his first rally. If the election is free and fair, and the people of Cameroon say, no, we want ukhulu wethu, ukhokho wethu, 92 to be president, who are we to say no? So in Zimbabwe, if people want to elect any party, they should be allowed to do so. But this should be done in a free and fair environment where everyone has a right to campaign. We do not want leaders that are imposed on the people. We did, Comrade Colin Patlane, of course, as you know, that there are many Zimbabweans that are in Botswana. Not only those that live and work in Botswana. The border between Zimbabwe and Botswana is busy. People go to do shopping in Botswana. as we know that our economy is more informal. Those that sell in the streets or in the shops, traders, that we do cross-border trade between Zimbabwe and Botswana. In the 80s, of course, in the 80s and 90s, which we were talking with the comrades in Botswana, is that there were many Botswana that were starting in Zimbabwe. You know that many Zimbabweans will tell you that they went to school with the people, students from Botswana. Of course, now I'm not sure if they are still there, that they are starting in Zimbabwe, but there were many that used to start in Zimbabwe. Uh, so we spoke about all this, the question of migration, that migration is one way to Botswana. Migration between Zimbabwe and Botswana seems to be one way to Botswana. The contribution also that people are making in Botswana. But one thing that, of course, that we're discussing informally with the comrades is that there are certain jobs. I know that in the context of South Africa, this has raised a lot of debate, but we are having this sober discussion with our comrades in Botswana. Is that you have Zimbabweans that work as cattle herders in Botswana. Um, they are there, they are many. And also the Botswana, the majority of whom do not want to take up this job. So the question is, if you have cattle, you work in Gaborone or Francistown, you want someone to look after your cattle. Botswana National says, no, I can't. Zimbabwean says, yes, I can. What should happen? And also, of course, all this brings the issues around the labor rights, exploitation, and so forth. So we did have this frank discussion with our comrades. But the most important thing is that they did indicate to us that they are reviewing their immigration policies. They want to attract investment from Africa. They are Pan-Africanist. As I said, that PNF is a former liberation movement, is Pan-Africanist. So they want Africans to come in, invest in Botswana. You also know that Botswana is going through its own economic challenges. De Beers, that is a monopoly over the diamonds in Botswana. You get reports when you read in the media on internet, you then suddenly hear that prices of diamonds have gone down. So the government of Botswana want to diversify its economy so that it does not depend only on diamonds. Because if it does, which we are beginning to see now, it creates a lot of problems in Botswana in terms of its economy. And this, by the way, was one of the things that led to former President Masisi losing political power. So we're saying if comrades do not adequately address the needs of the people of Botswana, you will go the way of Jaguera in Malawi, because it just came in 5 years. The people of Malawi said, no, 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 we want to bring back an 85-year-old to be our president. You must go home. So all these things we were discussing. And of course, we want in the SADC region, at the very least, to have communist and workers' parties taking power in the SADC region. This is our desire, and we must work towards that goal. We have this alliance in Africa, as I'm concluding, which we call Africa Left, and the Botswana National Front is part of that, because they are part of the workers in Botswana. We then have us, the Zimbabwe Communist Party, you have South African Communist Party, other progressive formations, communist and the workers' parties that are part of that. So it's important that we revive that structure so that we complete our liberation. We do not think that the liberation movements will complete our liberation. We see what is happening in Zimbabwe. So there is need to have communist and workers' parties taking power. They are not taking power for their own sake, but leading the workers, the working class, and the peasantry, who constitute the majority in our different countries. We're seeing the what is called pro-democracy formations that also have serious problems. We'll talk about the pro-democracy project, political parties, which were not part, were a revolutionary party ourselves, the Zimbabwe Communist Party. We reject American democracy. This is why, if you read the statement that we circulated, that we want an alternative outside IMF and the World Bank policies, pro-democracy, pro-democratic parties, they see economic development through foreign direct investment without people benefiting. And of course, we spoke about the what Chinese business people are doing, particularly in this part of the region. And we're very clear that while we're building a relationship with the Communist Party of China, we cannot turn a blind eye when Chinese business people do not respect our laws. On that, we cannot compromise. I was reading on Facebook that a worker, is it Mtogo, was asking his Chinese workers to employers to pay him. Instead of paying him, they've shot him dead. So there's a lot of abuse of workers in this part of the region by Chinese business people. And the governments are complicit because the labor laws are very clear. They are there. They need to be implemented. So we cannot allow Chinese business people to disrupt our environment, to just dig anyhow. There must be proper laws, and our laws are there. They must be followed. And we must not compromise on that, because we know that when you go to China, you must follow the laws of China. So a relationship must be built on respect. That we know that China has its laws. When our nationals go to China, they must respect the laws of China. When Chinese nationals come to Zimbabwe or any country in the SADC region, they must respect our laws. Then we have a good relationship. Otherwise, comrades, it's a Friday. I know some of you are going to Friday prayers. Some of you are going to have one or two drinks. If you are going to the club to dance and drink, please do not overdo it. Do not drink, then drive at 11 p.m. Just leave your car behind. You call an Uber, it takes you to your club, and when you have had too many, you can then request an Uber to come and fetch you and get you home, so that tomorrow we are all alive and we continue having these discussions. Good night, comrades.